Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Today's guest, I've got a good one for you. He's from the gym. I always see him around. I think he's a nice fella. I like Jordan. He's a good guy. I want to know what he's about. So you're going to find out what Jordan is about in this podcast. Jordan Clark, welcome to the bus. You're supposed to go mad, mate. Yeah, give it some. Are you enjoying my tinsel today?
Loving it.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Be nice to one another. Jordan, thank you for coming, man. How have you been holding up in these weird, unprecedented times? What have you been doing?
So obviously we've been carrying on teaching martial arts online. So it's definitely made me occupied. I don't really feel like I've had a break. Like some people maybe on furlough. It's just been really sort of giving our members extra value as well. So we've been doing extra stuff, just making sure they're happy and being that provider really.
So before Corona times, you were teaching martial arts at my old school, Ripley Juniors. And how did you get into all that? For like people that don't know, you teach martial arts and that's your full time, isn't it?
Yeah, full-time job.
Good work,
Took the
brother.
plunge.
For, what's the name?
Benefit Martial Arts.
And explain it.
So it's like the BE is the first two letters is B, then the final three letters is fit, be fit.
You get it.
So that's it. So full-time job, took the plunge. Like I said, I'm sure we'll talk about it later about travelling and being an electrician and quitting
being a whole life ahead of you, man. You've had a whole life as well. All them experiences.
I know, it's been mad. But now just follow my passion and teach.
So where did the passion come from? What was that moment of like, right, this is me? Did you feel it like this is me as well as soon as you discovered it?
Yeah, I think the passion's always been there, but I think it was a bit suppressed from being an electrician. And it was only until I went travelling till I did the cliche thing of finding myself. Oh, and throughout that year travelling, obviously I've got a lot of time.
Where was it, in a bar? There I am.
We just had like a good year of sort of time just to be in your own thoughts really. And then maybe towards the end, that I was just like thinking, this is what I want to do. So we just got like a real sort of burning desire inside of me. Like I said, this is just what I want to do. And then now I'm doing it. It's just like, thank God, like just every day is just good.
You were 4 when you got into karate, is that correct?
Yeah.
4
years old, yeah.
What are you doing in that class? Like, do you have to do, is it kata? Is that right? Terminology.
Yeah.
So your sensei is giving you a kata.
Yeah, so we have.
I know it all now.
So we got like obviously the katas in the syllabus, but for our little ninjas, so our 3 to 6 year olds, we have a ninja kata. So it's just like 10 moves, just getting them used to it. And at that age, it's just developing like the sort of biomechanics of the body, everything else of just getting a bit fitter, a bit more flexible, and as well as learning about sort of confidence and respect and discipline and all these kind of things. But as a 4-year-old, I just think you're having loads of fun.
Yeah.
You don't know till later
Do you make
on.
sure that is embodied in your classes?
Yeah, it's number
fun
one.
Aspect.
Number one. I have fun as well. I just be dead silly.
I bet there's a few senseis that do sort of go really serious. If they've got a power ship and they, even with 4-year-olds, they're like, no, this is really serious about discipline. But you are more about like, have fun, be silly. But with that, we're going to ingrain some like lessons within it.
Yeah, definitely.
I can feel that in your energy and what you dispel.
I think it's best to sort of be yourself and, like I say, you can still gain that respect. You can still have all the benefits of martial arts, pardon the pun, without being really strict and saying, no, do it again. Like, if you've been watching Cobra Kai, it's that kind of thing. So.
Would you get frowned upon, though, a little bit by some people in the martial arts industry for not being serious?
Yeah, probably. I bet there's some people who hate me. But
you're not doing it right.
there will be. And like 100% there will be people saying like, I can't believe you don't do that. I can't believe that's just like, they're not understanding this. But end of the day, it's just like, I know my students get value from it. They're learning valuable martial arts skills to protect themselves if they need to, but they're also having a really good time and they're learning about being the best version of themselves.
That sounds ace. There's a lot of good morals within it and philosophies.
I sleep well at night.
Yeah.
I don't worry about the other people.
So when you're going into a class as a 4-year-old, like little Jordan, so you're being told a kata, like what are you asked to do in that session? Do you have to memorise the moves and everything?
Yeah.
Is it a lot of that? towards it.
Yeah, so there's
Give
a
me
lot
a
of
rundown, bro. How long are you in that class for? An hour?
45 minutes, around 45 minutes class.
Right.
And obviously we have gradings as well. So the little ninjas, they go up in their belts. Obviously we're not giving a black belt to like a 5-year-old. You know, they all have their individual belts, and every 3 months we do a grading. I say, right, you need to know them 10 moves to pass your next belt.
Right, okay.
And so it gives them something to work towards. It makes the practicing at home. You know, it's instilling that sort of all these benefits of like martial arts. And martial arts is just the vehicle to all these amazing things, really. Do you know what I mean? It's just like the tool in which you're helping people control their emotions. You know, you're helping people develop the balance, the strength, the focus, and it's like all these things.
I love the way you talk about it, man. You are so passionate on it.
I just know, like,
feel it.
It's just it's helped me massively, and I've seen it help people massively. And even in my students, like even like 5 years old or 4 years old, the mums will send me a message saying like, oh, for weeks and weeks, this little lad has been pushing my daughter around. But it wasn't until yesterday that after class, he just said, no, you don't push me around. And then that's it now. I stopped pushing him around. And I'm just thinking, wow, this is amazing. Like, and just getting messages like that, just, you know, makes you feel really good. And yeah.
In the martial arts world, where do you think karate stands, like side with boxing, side with MMA, UFC, all that? Is it intertwined with it all? Kickboxing?
Yeah, I think, you know,
is it on its own accord?
I think it's, well, obviously it is a martial art. You know, you do learn how to kick and punch. They're all very sort of similar-ish, where it's just like you'll have a different stance or you'll do a different thing. Like kickboxing and karate is different as well. Obviously, I do both, and sometimes I can get caught out when I'm doing my kickboxing. I'm thinking, my stance needs to be different for karate. Yeah. Like, so there is definitely disciplines, and I think they're all in their own sort of category. Like, I think you can't really compare them all, really. It's like,
sometimes I see it get a bit mocked. Karate. Have you experienced that from people?
Yeah.
Like they don't treat it as a serious discipline to some degree.
Yeah.
I suppose because I've seen videos where senseis are like, I'm the master of this, and then a UFC fighter comes in and just batters them. Yeah. Because they've not got that sort of discipline, and especially punching in a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Does that make sense? And why does it get that mockery? And why does senseis like that exist? Yeah, because I suppose for me, my understanding of karate, which is very limited, but it feels more about the morals and the discipline and the connection behind it, the philosophy behind it, is what I understand from it. But you can really fill me in on a better scale of that.
Yeah, no, it is, to be fair. And a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to learn how to fight. And it's not that. Like, if you want to learn how to fight, go to UFC. Or like, you know what I mean? That's like learning how to fight. Yeah. Obviously, you still get the benefits of training, like, you know, we speak about in karate, but karate is very much, you know, it is like an art. It really is. Like when you're doing the katas, and they've all got like a meaning though. And every move that you do has a meaning, and, you know, you can go back years and years and years. And some stuff you think like, what are they doing there? Like, what was they thinking about, you know? But then, you know,
that's been misinterpreted.
Yeah, pretty much, because it just gets passed on. And like, I'll do a kata, and my instructor will do a kata, and then his instructor will do a kata. Then you'll see another kata on YouTube, and think, I don't do that. That's a bit different. Is that right? And then, but it's just obviously years and years and years been passed on differently. That it gets intertwined a little bit, and I think there is some martial arts instructors that sort of like the ego of it, like, I'm a black belt, you can't touch me, kind of thing. And they sort of like shield behind this belt and everything, when really they're just missing the whole point of it, really. It's,
is there a lot of ego within it?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you feel cliques and places like that, and when you talk to people, you're like, you're not in this for the wholesome reasons of it? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, with my old club, it was a really big organisation, and you could definitely see there was the people there, the egos there, and, you know, I'm the main man kind of thing. And
there an element of why you decided to branch off and do your own thing then, is because you're like, right, I love all the principles this has got to give, I love everything it's about, but I just don't want these egos intertwined with what I'm about, so you went and started your own thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like, obviously, and seeing like my old club, like, I could see where things were going wrong. Like the instructor who set it up, he you know, he grew it to massive. It was like one of the biggest schools in the UK.
Wow.
So like, it did really good, but then it got a bit of money from that as well. No, and then I never saw him. Like, you went to class, and I'll say his name, John Jepson, like the thing is, and you go to a class and everyone's like, who's John Jepson? You know, I don't know. It's like, is the owner of the club. Like, what do you mean? Oh, I've never met him in like 5 years.
Oh, really?
Whereas for me, I thought that was wrong. Like, I totally understand you've got a massive club, you've got loads of things, you can't possibly be everywhere all at once. But at least just come down once a year. Like, just to say, look, this is me. You know, this is my club. Or being a bit more out there. But it wasn't. It was just the instructor at the time.
You felt like you planted a seed and just left it to grow and do its own thing.
Yeah. And they didn't really...
It's nice to know you've been back watering it though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and there was a lot of sort of bad stuff going on, a lot of sort of like, and everybody from the organisation has split off and gone on their own, so it sort of speaks for itself, doesn't it, really? So, and I think, you know, I'm really good friends with some two other instructors in Hina, and they've gone on their own, and they was with them for a long time, and you know, you just start to think, you know what, you just do it yourself. Like, you don't need all these people above you and telling you what to do and what you can't do, and you know.
Is there a big demand for it? Are there a lot of people getting into it every day, and you're like meeting people interested, inquisitive by it? Yeah,
there's a massive. I think there's a really good guy, Gordon Bircham, who's on the sort of the business side of things, and I think that's the one thing with martial arts. You know, there's people who charge 50p a class, come down, do it, and then there's other people who charge £120 a month. You know, but you're going to get a lot of value in that, and I think a lot of sort of back in the day kind of thing is people, you didn't do it for as a full-time job, it was just a part-time thing. You did it in a village hall for people, whereas now it's people who are actually creating businesses from it, and the people who are creating businesses from it are investing more in it, and you're getting a better experience instead of just Joe Bloggs down the road who charges 50p, which is fine. You know, it's not a problem like either way, it's just whatever your values are. But I'm very much in terms of like, you know, you pay me for whatever value I give you, and I want to give you the maximum value as possible, where you come out of it thinking, wow, this is cheap compared to, like, you know, standing up to a buddy, like, what price can you put on that kind of thing, or your child having confidence, or you know, all these things that you just think, you know what, I want to invest in, I want to, you know, have a place for them to come to. In
this world that we're in now, like, we don't need to regurgitate information anymore and just cram exams. We need to be thinking of these sort of massive characteristics like confidence, like thinking for yourself. And is that what you're saying your discipline teaches? Very much so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, martial arts is amazing for confidence is definitely one of the main things, I think, as well as self-defense and learning how to defend yourself. But confidence is definitely the number one thing that our students and parents say that their child has just got to become more confident. Because if you're more confident, you're less likely to get bullied. You're more likely to do more
excel
stuff.
In all areas,
So it's just like, it's just like the first thing. Like, if we can just get them to believe in themselves, which is like what confidence is, then it's just like, it just opens up so many doors for them.
So what were you like as a kid then? Like, were you a confident kid, or did your mum see something in you, your parents see something in you where they're like, do you know what, we need to put him into a class or something like that?
I was very naughty.
Naughty boy.
When I was,
hey, Jordan, respect, bro. I was one of them.
Well, when I was in infant school, I wasn't necessarily naughty as in like horrible. I just had like too much energy, I think, and I was just sort of not really listening. I'd probably get up in a few fights and that, not actually wanting to fight, just messing around, getting into fights.
But slapping the back in your mate's head.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just like really like just messing around, really, not focused at all. And then my instructor actually came into my school when I was only this high and did an assembly.
What was that?
So it was at Caulfield Infant School.
Okay.
So when I was only like, say, whatever, 5 or 6, whatever, then...
Got a bloody good memory, mate.
I know, yeah. Well, it's weird because I'm working at that school at the minute, so I'm teaching their kids. It's weird. One of the teacher remembers me as well. So, but yeah, he came in, did an assembly, and I was just like, yeah, this looks good. Like, you know, I told my mum, she was like, yeah, went down, and then, you know, once I was into primary school, I was just like, good as gold. Like, secondary school, never got a detention, you know, like, just completely changed. I think it just channeled my energy.
I'm not asking you to psychoanalyze your 5-year-old self, because I'm guessing that's pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
But do you have like a moment where you remember seeing it and thinking, this is what I want to do, like sort of a passion burning in you?
A little bit. It's weird because I really enjoy what I do and I love doing it. But in terms of like martial arts itself, I wasn't like fanboying over Karate Kid, and like, I never, like, I don't really follow the UFC that much because I don't really got time to follow it. But in terms of, like, you know what I mean, like, I don't actually sort of like, you know, like a geek in sort of martial arts. I just really enjoy doing it, and it's just like my passion, and I just end up getting really good at it, and then just went from there, really.
Same for me with writing, music and poetry. I'm not always like going out my way to discover new artists and find a new poet that I'm going to start going down the line of and looking at all the poems. I just really enjoy creating.
Yeah.
And like people are like, oh no, you should be looking at all these other artists and all these different ways of doing it. And I do get that and I respect that. But it is, if you've just got a passion in doing, just do.
Yeah.
You don't have to push yourself to go down the line of, oh no, I should respect every element of it and get into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's true. And I think sometimes you can sort of put things off and procrastinate 'cause you're not like, oh, I don't know all the information. And like when I first started, like sometimes I felt like a fraud. Like I was just like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Like, but I just taught from like
Imposter
the heart.
syndrome.
And I was like, if someone asked me like, who's the third generation karate master, I'm like, I don't know. Like, you don't even know what you're teaching.
You get
like,
this
you know,
with music, like in egos, like people are like, oh, you don't know that artist, or oh, you don't know that band.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I just do me.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I've listened to some conscious rap in my time where I'm like, oh, that hit me, or that spoke to me, or poets. But I'm just not going out my way to discover it, and I've put my own stint on what I do, which seems like what you're about, and you've just gone, I've been on this journey, I've been and met this sensei, I like all the ideas I'm getting, but I'm going to do my own thing elsewhere.
Yeah.
And is that what your classes feel like then?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Do you compete as well? Do you compete in...
No, it's the one thing that I haven't done. My instructor didn't sort of believe in it, thought, it's great to build confidence up, but it's also a thing that can shatter confidence as well. Like if you lose a tournament or whatever, it can be quite damaging, and some people can't recover from it. So there is a bit of a either side to it. But I never really did it. And it's the older I get, the more I think, I'd like to do it. I would like to do it. But then I just think, is it my ego talking? Just to like get a trophy or something, or just to like, oh, look at me, I'm really good. When I don't need it, is it just something in the back of my mind?
If you are very conscious and aware of self anyway.
Yeah.
So like, if you know you don't want to go in with your ego, or you don't want to be led by ego, I think you can keep aware of that and do it healthily, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I've felt it before, like going on stages and performing and being up in front of hundreds of people, thinking, am I just doing this for my ego's sake of things, or because I enjoy it? And when I reflected enough, I was like, well, yeah, I'm enjoying the moment though. So I think you've got to go off of that as well, rather than worrying constantly if the ego's being fed. You go, I'm aware of ego. I understand that I've got a self. I'm just not going to feed it what it needs. If that makes sense. So I think you could compete.
I think
healthily.
I could. I think I could, to be fair, because I always like a challenge. I like to do it. A part of me is a little bit like, oh, Jordan, like, the instructor, like, imagine if we just did rubbish and like knocked out the first round.
True.
Like stuck at the back of my mind thinking, oh, is he really that good, kind of thing. But then it's just like your mind just being stupid in it, But I don't know.
I'm surprised you haven't, because for me, when I'm in a sport of any descript, it has to have a competitive edge or feel to it. It's just how I've always loved rugby, football, boxing, that I've always competed in all of them sports. And if it hasn't got a competitive edge to it, I do seem to just deteriorate and go off the rails from it.
Yeah.
But you stuck to karate because you just really enjoyed
it,
the whole... What is it in that 45 minutes you're getting? What are you going through?
I think just going back to like the competition thing, I think a lot of time in martial arts, I'm in competition with myself.
I
think that's enough for me, like just to, can I be better than what I was yesterday? Can I be better than last week? And then, it just in the classes, obviously, the way we structure our classes, you do like a warm-up as together, then you just do a quick stretch, and then obviously you're going to do whatever's in that syllabus. It might be punching, kicking, blocking, self-defense, kata, Keons and all these other different stuff, and then you normally finish with like a bit of fitness as well. So I think they say it's the largest individual team sport, karate, because you do it on your own. But you're with so many people, and every person that I met in martial arts has just been like really kind, really generous. Some of the nicest people.
True community.
Yeah, and it's just really good to like push yourself, and there's no end to it. I think that's another good thing. There's no end. Like you get your black belt, and people think, oh, that's the end. I've done martial arts.
Like that, doesn't
but it's not. It's literally like just the beginning. Like, and it sounds really cheesy, but it is. And I remember my instructor saying like, black belt's just the beginning, and I was like,
so
whatever.
that means sort of like,
but it did,
you've reached a certain level of mastery, but now it's time to become the master.
Yeah, pretty much, because you know how to do the moves, but do you know why you do the moves? Can you get better at that move? And that is what it's all about, really. Because you get to black belt, you think, yeah, I can do 6-7 katas, brilliant. Yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I can kick this high. But then you get to it, you start understanding a bit more of like, well, why do we do it? Like, what is the reason for this? And like, why is my stance like this? Oh, it's because of this. And you're like, oh, right, okay. You do just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And then when you become a coach and instructor, you're learning even more then. So then you get like an instructor saying like, why do we do that? I'm like, it's a good question. Yeah. I'll find out for you though. Like, I don't, pretend I know all the answers, but I'll find out for you. And it's good.
So here's a layered question then. But like with say wrestling, do you know WWE?
Yeah.
That's got storylines and is quite obviously not real.
Yeah.
Like with karate, it's real. Like you're doing moves and katas and movement of the body. If you use that in a day, say somebody's coming at you with a knife, or you're doing self-defense at school, like a bully's trying to attack you and you've taught like a 12-year-old to use it on them, could it be dangerous that they have this ability, and is it a real ability? Can you actually deter, can you defend yourself?
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not fake, it's not wrestling.
No, yeah, what we do it in practice, and when we do a self-defense, you'll get somebody to grab your top and you say, right, get out of it then, and we'll teach you how to do it, and it does work.
Okay.
But obviously a lot of the times you'll when you're students and stuff, you'll say, oh yeah, it works, but you've got to do it 100%. It's got to be a perfect execution. You can't just half-heartedly do a self-defense move because it's not going to work. Yeah. And you got to think like the other person might have adrenaline, so they're going to be gripping on a lot stronger. And obviously there's times where you're not invincible. Someone's coming with your knife. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be worth it. You're better off just walking away and talking out.
Running.
Which is when we do our self-defense, the number one thing is saying, can you avoid the situation? Can you talk yourself out of it? Can you avoid it? Because end of the day, you don't want to go into a fight. What you're going to prove, you're going to get hurt, they're going to get hurt. So
somewhat, you hear that with, say, other disciplines like boxing or MMA. Yeah. They can go two ways. Like, they've got confidence and they're comfortable in themselves, so they just protect themselves when they need to. Yeah. Or they go out their way to find trouble and start punching kids around the playground.
Yeah, I think it's that. It is kind of a fine line, and it's with martial arts, it's about the self-awareness and the channeling that energy for there, and understanding that you don't need to fight. There's ways of resolving stuff without violence, and I think when you do martial arts, you realise that, and you think, this is my place that I like to do all my punching and kicking. I don't need to do it. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. And I think you start developing yourself as a person, and you start understanding that, like you said, I don't need to fight actually. Like, what am I trying to prove? Like, I'm the best, hardest kid in school kind of thing. It's like, great.
Sounds
what do you get? You don't get a medal for it. So
it's done great for you, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it's done good for you and your mindset.
Never been involved in a fight.
You're a naughty boy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I was never involved in fights or anything, and I don't
never had to actually use it.
No, there was a couple of times where I could have been involved in a fight if I went for it, but my martial arts just
mindset
stayed calm and just saying, talk them out of it. And then 9 times out of 10, you can talk someone out of a fight. And if they've had a drink, then you're in that situation, and 9 times out of 10, you just think it's not worth it.
Avoid it. Truthfully, man, there's the amount of friends I've met on the way, and then you hear, they're in prison now because they punched somebody, they landed funny, or somebody had a knife on them, they've attacked them, and then the knife's come out. It's just so unnecessary. You wake up in the morning with a broken nose, a black eye, or don't wake up in the morning.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it really isn't. No. On a night out over probably something daft like a girl.
Yeah. What are you looking at? What?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Something like serious.
Nature.
Yeah. But obviously with kids, and obviously we tell them about anti-bullying and stuff like that. I do tell them, try and avoid it. If you can't avoid it, try and just break the cycle of whatever the bully's doing. Be confident, stand up to them, tell them, no, I don't want to be a bully. Tell a teacher, and you do all these things. But then it does come to a point where if the bully's carrying on, sometimes they do need a bit of violence to stop them. And it's letting that child have that self-awareness of like, what, this kid's been doing it for ages now. I think it's time that I give him something back. And it's it's understanding that it's not the first day he's done it and I've just lamped him one. It's been going on for a while. And now it's got to a point where something needs to change. And sometimes, kids do need a good smack. I don't condone violence or anything. And, you should always try and avoid it. But what are you going to do? Just take it otherwise, you can't just sit there and take the beating. And I think when schools sort of say, oh, there's a no violence policy, doesn't matter who started it, you're both expelled. And I think it's just stupid because...
That is ridiculous.
Why? Like, what is that teaching? So you're just going to just sit there and get smashed in the face because I can't fight back, so I'm going to get expelled.
My granddad was a bit of a rough and tumbler. Yeah. he liked fighting. He was in the army and that, and boxed. And he ran my dad's football team, and he was always known as don't mess with Brian Markham, he'll have you. But I was dealing with bullying at Ripley Junior School actually for a long time. I'm thinking 2 years probably, the same bully. And I remember, I've told this story before, but it was a massive moment in my life. And I've been to speak to my granddad, and he just gave me this advice, said, like, get your hand like this and put that on their nose. And he just said it like straight to me. But it was in a time where, so me, my mum and my sister all had a dog each. And my dog was called Jake, and he had 3 legs, and he was like my best mate. And it was on the day he was being put down or put to sleep. And I was a little kid, just really couldn't handle it. Year 5, the bully was in year 6. Anyway, my mum decided I could go to school that day, even though everyone was like, I wouldn't send him, he doesn't look right. But I went, and anyway, this bully, I just remember hearing him in the back, and he went, oi, fat boy, because I was really big at the time, as a little prop forward at rugby, and he spat on my head, he spat on the back of my head, and I just turned around and went, my dog died today, and I just swung everything I could. I wouldn't stop, and the teacher came in. I'm like in year 5, so what? You're 11, and I just threw her. I had this like superpower strength, and then I wouldn't stop. It was pretty horrendous, and the guy didn't end up well. But I think they let me off for all that. But I never got bullied again. This like word went round, even though we were at like junior school, everyone was like, he's tapped, or he's like not a normal lad, don't mess with him. And I never ever dealt with it again. So even though it shouldn't get to that point, for some reason that works as well. There is an element that it stops that bad stuff from happening.
I think it's breaking that cycle. If it's like every day, he's going to nick me lunch, beat me up after school, or every day I'm going to wait after school, he's going to beat me up. It's like you're just letting it happen. Like it just keeps like a loop, like Groundhog Day. Just you know what I mean? You need to break that loop and sort of show that you've got confidence. And
I think that's what
it below you, aren't they,
did for me. Like, yes, I did a physical act and I really hurt somebody, and that could have gone really badly. But then later on, when anything like that started to semi-amount again, or anything nearly happened, I nipped it in the bud because I had that assertiveness. I didn't have to fight them anymore, but I had this attitude about me where it's like, no, I'm not going to let this happen, no. And I'd get involved, or I'd tell somebody, or whatever it was, but I'd make sure it didn't happen. So from what you're describing, I implemented that in my life by accident.
I think it's just mainly just self-awareness.
I know karate.
Yeah, black belt overnight. But no, I think it's, especially nowadays, that it's worse than ever at school. Like, I go into the schools and I teach, and I hear stuff, and I just think like, well, why have you said that? Like, would you like if someone said that to you? No, it's just like there's just this sort of like careless attitude of so many kids these days. And it's sad. It is sad, and I get loads of students like of my own who say, "Oh, it's being bullied on the bus, or they're being bullied at school. Like, what do you think?" I'm just like, it's hard to sort of say without seeing the situation. But I always just say, like, just let them know that you're not to be messed with. You're not an easy target. And if they're bullying you, then they're just below you anyway, just trying to drag you down.
I think schools are trying somewhat, but I don't think they have the right attitudes built in with it. I think you've got to give a realistic evaluation of what's going on.
Yeah.
And you've got to say, like you said before, don't just exclude both of them because they got in the rough and tumble. You've got to root and go where it's gone. Turn them into friends if you can.
Yeah.
But don't just do every 6 months a little anti-bullying campaign, a week on it. Don't do this, be mates. Approach it every day. Get them to talk to one another. And when you've got a student that's really struggling, if you can get the other person to come and meet them and talk about it and get on a level, I think that might help. There's got to be something there.
I think the teachers need to have more of a zero policy, and just kind of saying like any slightest little thing of bullying, it's like you're getting in detention or whatever, or like talking to them and just saying like, well, why are you doing it, and like kind of thing. And I think so it's just
a tricky one, isn't it?
It is a tricky one.
How old are your classes? Like, are they 4 to what?
3 to 6 year olds.
3 to 6.
And 7 to 12s, and then teens and adults.
Oh, so you do all
the way up,
all ranges.
Yeah.
How different do the classes look between each one?
pretty different. 3 to 6 year olds is just crazy. They always make me laugh, and they always have it always makes me laugh. It's fun. It's just loads of energy, and they're just like, you can't take it too seriously. You'll just be like in a serious. So we're talking about anti-bullying. I'll be talking to them, sat down in front of me, all listening. Anti-bullying. You should do this. Be kind. Use your manners. Be polite. And then like one of the 4-year-olds put their hand up and like, yes, what's up, Lucas? My dad's got new jeans today. You're like, right, okay, brilliant. Anything about anti-bullying? No, brilliant. Right. You just got to think. You got to go with it. You got to go with it.
My best one was when I was in a class. It was a bit older. I think they were like 7, 8, and the guy just went, my dad's got them shoes. Out of everything I'd just said, I'd done some poems, I'd done like the best work I've done, I've got a really cool exercise. Everyone know what they're doing? Yeah, we know what we're doing. All run off. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Hand in the air. My dad's got them shoes. I'm like, man, I thought I'd like inspired you.
It's funny, it's just, it's 3 to 6, so lots of fun. Go with the flow kind of thing.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's good. Then the 7 to 12s, they're a really good bunch because they're starting to understand who they are a little bit more. They're like a bit more emotionally regulated a little bit more, and they're really starting to like put the good effort and attitudes in, and it's amazing to see them like do stuff and you're just like, wow, like they're really giving it their all. And obviously you can have a bit more banter with them. They start to get a bit older, and you can have a good laugh. And then the teens and adults is just always a good banter anyway. Adults are really good. Really good bunch.
Which is the bit where the fundamentals of your practice come out? Like, is it in that middle year where you're really trying to teach them your teachings?
Yeah, pretty much. The 3 to 6s, like I say, it's a lot about developing their motor skills. Learning how to like
and just
jump
enjoying it. As
having
a possibility.
fun. Get testing the memory, teaching them how to punch and kick. So then when they progress into the juniors, they've already got these basics. Now it's about getting better at those basics and learning more stuff. And then as you get older, again, it's about perfecting those basics. So you're just like going up each level. I've got quite a high sort of top heavy syllabus, so a lot of people like try and teach you loads of stuff, and then at the top when you get to black belt, there's nothing left to learn. Like I've learned it all. Whereas I'm a bit more of like an upside down triangle, whereas I kind of don't like overwhelm them to begin with. Slow progression, get them through the belts, get that confidence going, and then as they're getting towards black belt, you really start putting on the pressure a bit more. So right, you need to learn this now, you need to learn this, and then they're more well equipped for it because they've just gone through all these belts, they've got the confidence now. They're ready to take on criticism, so it seems to work quite nice.
What sort of criticism have you given?
Just sort of in terms of like what they're doing. So I'll say you need to be faster, or you need to know this kata for your next belt. Like you do need to practice at home. Like I can tell you've not been practicing, and sometimes it's not very nice to tell people they haven't passed the grading. And it's
do you have
quite
tears?
We've had a few tears. Like we had a few students just sort of like run out.
30-year-old blokes.
No.
I'll have you. I know I've got my black belt.
Some of the kids like find it hard to understand because we do like a ninja of the week as well. So at the end of every class, I'll pick a ninja of the week. So somebody who's like done really good kicks, might have been really kind, polite to somebody, might have been helpful. So it's not just about martial arts; it's about something good.
Okay.
And then you'll say, right, ninja of the week. There, I'm going to give it today to like Bella, and then you're like, and all the kids are like, oh, I didn't do very good. And I'm like, no, you did good. Like it's not that you didn't do good. It's just like they did something like a tiny little bit better. So. And I think that's a good thing for them to understand, You can't everybody's not going to win, because that's life, isn't it? So
it's a natural emotion, isn't it? To be envious of something is want to do better and excel, but to be jealous is like the repressed version. Yeah. So it's good to show envy and want to do better.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go to your travelling then days, man. That sounds great. So were you doing, how old were you?
So it was in 2018, so only 22, 23,
And you've done Asia?
Asia, whole year, 14 countries.
Did you? Wow, well, we've got some podcasts to go, guys. Strap in. So, did you do the really quite obvious things as well with what you love and your passion? Were you going to all the gyms? Were you going and seeing like the Thai boxing and different ways of doing that? Yeah.
So we did a bit of that. So my partner, or fiance now, Sylvie, cheers. She went travelling for 3 months. So when we was together, we hadn't been together around about 6-7 months. She went travelling for 3 months with her best mate, without me. And I was at the time, I was like, how dare you? So it's like at the time I just thought like, whatever. Didn't really understand travelling. I was more about sort of money and work, and
when you were an electrician.
Yeah, when I was an electrician, and then she came back, saw her picture. I was just like, wow, that's amazing. Like, what am I thinking about? Yeah, then we both decided, you know, let's just save up 2 years and let's just go traveling for a whole year together. Because I said, if I'm doing it, I'm going all in. I'm doing it.
And if you're on an electrician's wage as well, for 2 years saving, that's pretty good. You're going out to Asia and spending a good time in Asia.
Yeah, well, I was an apprentice at the time, so it wasn't like an amazing wage. I was just I got qualified in November 2017. I went travelling December 2017.
Right, okay.
Like January was in New Delhi for the New Year.
Wow.
So literally just got qualified, and I was like, yeah, I'm leaving. So my boss wasn't too happy after just paying for me for 4 years. But yeah, no. So like, you know, we both had this vision of like going traveling for a year.
Yeah.
We picked all the countries we wanted to go to. We literally planned it for like a good year and a half. Like just literally thinking, what's the weather going to be like? When can we do it? It was a really tight schedule between each country. And yeah, we worked out how much money it would cost. We worked out it cost 12 grand in total. So we're like, right, we need to save like the 12 grand and let's do it. And then over those 2 years, like we did it. And then we just went traveling. Went to.
So cool.
I'll try and name all the countries if you want. So
go on then.
India.
As fast as you can.
Oh, no, I always forget them. I'll probably like butcher the order as well. So, India, Sri Lanka, China, Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Philippines. I think I might have said some of them twice, but yeah, that was most of them anyway.
Why did you choose the Oriental side of things?
It was the cheapest to travel for the longest. And yeah, just really interesting. But obviously, karate is from Japan, like my style, so I was really interested in going to Japan.
So there was a part of you that was like, okay, I want to make sure I see part of my passions.
Yeah. And then, in that year was just, it's incredible, really, because it's the one time that I had so much time to sort of think about life and yourself. You're in your own thoughts, and every day you're just doing something amazing, and you're just seeing all these different cultures, and you, like, your mind's just been open massively, like, whereas before you was just Hina, like, so live closed mindset, pretty much, and you just, and then you step out into this world and you're just like, wow, like, and it was just the best year of our lives.
It's funny,
it was amazing,
because I did travelling, and I did Oz for a year, then Asia for 8 months, I think it was, come back and then did South Africa for a year.
Oh wow.
But it's so true. You come back with like very cliche attitudes about life, very stereotypical thoughts. Yeah. But it is honest. Like, you're meeting, if you go into hostels, you're meeting people all over the world. They're sharing similar stories. Yeah. Every day is different. You're going out and you're like, let's go on this excursion today. And then suddenly you're on the way to this excursion and something happens and you're like, oh, we're going over here now.
Yeah. When we did our traveling, like, we didn't want to be like flash packers. Like, we literally did it as minimal, bare money as possible, like, just to be as most authentic experience as possible. Like, we didn't want to just like the people who go on holiday for a couple of weeks and getting flights and all these expensive coaches. Like, we wanted to do it like the locals to get the best experience. So like everywhere we went, you know, there feels like a flight for 4 hours. Like, let's get the bus for 2 days.
Yeah.
You're just
like, I'm so glad you did.
You know,
that.
and obviously it's in those journeys that you just, it was looking back, you just think, thank God, like, we did that. Like, at the time, you just think, oh, this is the longest bus journey ever. But you just, the people that you see on there, you know, like, say the time that you've got just to think about stuff, and it was amazing. Like, we literally, like, we got a scuba diving license when we was out there. We saw like Muay Thai, you know, we went to Japan and China, and like the Great Wall of China, like Taj Mahal in India. You're just seeing all these amazing landmarks
and destinations.
But then the thing that sort of stood out the most was just like the people and the cultures. Like, the Taj Mahal was amazing, and like the Great Wall of China was amazing, and you're just like looking at it like, wow, it's pretty cool. You know, obviously it was a bit better than that, but the things that stick out, like the people that you meet along the way,
experiences,
and it does sound cliche, and I think unless you've actually done travelling, you don't fully understand it. Because before I went, a lot of people were like, what are you doing that for? What waste of money? You could buy 3 houses with that money, and
quite deflated at them certain landmarks and destinations you're supposed to go to. I've been to them and I'm like, I'm not getting that burning feeling that everyone's told me to get. But then the funniest little moments where you've ended up in a local's lit hut and you're sitting around the fire and they're making you food and telling you stories, you're like, oh, this is what it was about. It's like the journey there. Is that what you felt? So what was the Jordan before that and the Jordan after that? Was it a radical shift?
Pretty much,
yeah. It really was.
Obviously, I was left school, did a year in sixth form. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, to be honest.
Mate, we went on the same journey.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew I liked sports. I was good at sports. just after 1 year at sixth form, I was just like, this isn't for me. So I was like, Mum was like, well, you need to do something. Like, you need to get a job. So I was like, all right, look at apprenticeships. I thought, electrician, sounds all right. Didn't have a clue what it was about. Totally blagged the interview. I was like, yeah, my dad's an electrician. This is all I've ever wanted to do. Blah, blah, blah. Like, my dad's not an electrician.
Even better.
Yeah. So it was funny, because I said that. I was like, yeah, my dad's an electrician. Like, oh, yeah, we know a Clark. I was like, oh, fuck no. I was like, what's his name? I was like, oh, he doesn't live around here. Don't live around here. Yeah, so but yeah, I got the job as electrician, and at the start it was amazing. You know, I was out in the real world, I was earning money. You know, it was all like real. It wasn't like you weren't in a school bubble anymore. It was like, this is life. You go to work, you get up early, you come in, like, you go to work in the dark, you come home in the dark. You're hard graft. You know, you get your hands dirty, and it was all like that. And it was wicked to, like, for the first year or so. I thought, this is cool, all new and exciting. And then after about a year, I just thought, it's just the same. Like, it's
was
just
that
the same.
your own self-discovery, or did you have like friends and family feeding it in?
No, it was just myself, really. I just, like, the people that I used to work with, obviously, like, blokes and stuff, and like a bit older than me, it was just like, they just moan about the same stuff, and like moan about the boss, or this is crap, we don't get paid enough, and it was just like the same thing all the time. And I was always just like, well, why are you doing it then? Like, there'd be days where you just won't have any food. I'm like, it's lunchtime, like, why aren't we going for lunch? Oh, we need to get cracked on and get done, and then we can get home. I'm like, but you're missing out on your lunch. Like, for me, I was just like, why don't we do it? And they're like, oh, I can't do that, like, the boss will have us. And the boss would come out in your lunch break, and you're like, right, can you show me this? I'm like, it's my lunch, mate, like, why are you coming out of my lunch? And then just all these little things, and you know, and you get so caught in the trap of just the money, and you just think, like, oh yeah, the money's great though, like, you know, it's brilliant really for what you do. You know, you worked a lot of hours for it though, and you obviously just paid by the hour. And you know, it was a good experience. I learned a lot of sort of life experience from older sort of blokes and stuff living with. But yeah, then it got to the point where I just didn't enjoy it. Like, I didn't enjoy it at all, really. Like, all through my college, I just thought, it's all right, it's interesting, but I don't enjoy it.
Were you an overthinker at all back in the day? Like, did you think a lot outside the box? And when you're having conversations with your mates, did you find your brain didn't quite align with how they thought?
A little bit. I think I necessarily didn't really have those conversations because I didn't feel like I could have those conversations with my mates as such. So it was just suppressed, really. Like, now I'm like, wow, this is like, it's funny looking at my Facebook memories. Like, literally from like 10 years ago. So like, this is when I was like 15, 16. I'm like, oh, like putting these inspirational quotes on, or just gone for a run, and like feeling amazing. I'm thinking, I haven't actually changed. I just got suppressed in that little period of my life where, you know, you get a job and you're sort of too tired to do anything else, and you just sort of stuck with it. It's like, yeah, this is it. But yeah, no, I didn't enjoy being an electrician, and I felt like I couldn't speak to people who had like dreams and aspirations, all a bit like, oh, who's this guy, like, you're just a dreamer kind of thing. And you know, so many people was saying like, you're stupid. And when I finally was like, oh, I'm gonna go traveling for a year, like, everyone's like, what, you're daft, you're stupid, like, you could literally like buy a house with that money, like, wow, like, it's gonna return. And I was like, yeah, but you're gonna like be rich in experience. And like, they just didn't get it. And it's just like, the blokes I were like, yeah, you'll be back after the year. They're not, yeah, you'll be back. And I says, I don't think I will.
Did they talk to you in that way?
All the time. They was like, yeah, you'll be back though. Like, yeah, you just have a year out, and then you'll be back doing this again.
That people, because they haven't done something, they feel they can inflict that on others. No, you're not going to be like that. You're going to live in this certain platform and plane.
Yeah, there's a couple of times where I says, I'd love to like teach martial arts. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not where the money's at, lad. This is where the money's at. Yeah. Like, can you make it pay, kind of thing? And I was just like, yeah, true, probably not. I didn't really know at the time. And it wasn't until, like, say, traveling, I sort of like got this big sort of, it wasn't really like an epiphany. I think it was like a slow kind of epiphany. It was like, and then I realised, I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do. I spoke to a few of my old instructors. I was just like, can you like make a living out of teaching martial arts? Like, is it an actual job? He's like, yeah, you can make a really good living, like, you know, like really, really good. I was like, oh, and then that was just like kind of like, yes, that's it then. As soon as I said that, I was just like, wow, yeah, open the doors, let's do this. And then it was funny though, because obviously I knew that I wanted to do that, and I was just so excited to get home and start it. And we had to remind ourselves, like, we're in Thailand, like, we need to enjoy it now, like, stop thinking, so that was quite challenging. You're so excited to go home and start this new life and your new person. But you forgot you was like, you're still traveling, like, you know. It's
funny, like, I've always tried to break down and help people that are in this conundrum and stuck in this mindset. But I was that kid as well. Like, I'd tried sixth form, I got kicked out of my schools, then they let me have another go. And then me and my best mate Jagger were just sat there one day and we're like, what are we doing here? Like, seriously, we're getting nothing from it. We ended up going away from sixth form, and I was working in a factory at Thornton's, and literally my day was packing boxes, but quite literally for 12 hours you'd be sat there going and just nothing else, and everybody else was around, and I was like, is this normal? But I would always question it. And I remember I'm quite dramatic, so my day of leaving, I was trying, like, you know what, I'm going to make the best of this situation. And I was dancing on the aisle, and then this boss came and goes, what are you doing? I was like, packing boxes like everyone else. He's like, not like that, you're not. So I started like getting really depressed, and then I was talking to people, and he came back and was like, right, come here, and he put me on my own in a corner, literally to put labels on, and I was just doing these labels, and I was like, had that epiphany moment. But really, when I've been burning and overthinking, like, this isn't what life is, this isn't the end goal, I just pushed everything to the side. All these labels went everywhere. I was like, I'm out of here. F you. Just stumbled out. I was like, I needed the Rocky theme tune on. It was dead exciting. But then I went traveling straight. I went home, bought a plane ticket with my mate. I was like, mate, we need to go. He's like, oh, I'm up for it. We went like literally 2 weeks later, we got the visa for Australia, we got everything we needed, got the flights, and then just went. But I always try and work out why people who's taught the talk, like, we'd be going to the pub all the time and like, let's go lads, let's go. Next morning, nah, not bothered, like, I need the money, mate, need the job. Why these mindsets are so consistent, and why people don't break the shift of that pattern. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand. I feel it's probably fearful. It's because they're so ingrained in this is all they know, this is what we've been told. But like what you're doing now, what other local young people are doing, opening businesses or making their own like passions prevalent, I think that's so important to see nowadays. I think that's what young people need to be inspired by the most.
Definitely,
Be your own person, be your own thinker. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. And I think I think I'm grateful that I was sort of strong enough passion in myself to do it. Otherwise, I would have just gone back to being an electrician and doing like the easy route, because it is easy when you get paid and you just, you know, you've not got the stress of like running a business and stuff. And you know, you literally just turn up, you do work. And I remember I was doing these, I was in York City Centre. I was doing these like lamppost CCTV camera things. Oh no, it was a bus stop actually, like the real time thing. And it was just absolutely pissing it down with rain. And I was just there in my coat and I had like my tools out, and I was just on my own. There's this like puddle near me near the bus stop, and this car just came and like just got soaked. And I just remember like sat there thinking, this is shit. Like this is absolutely shit, innit? And I said to like the bloke I was working with, I was like, this is crap, innit? He's like, yeah, but you know, it pays the bills.
This is what it is.
And they're like too long in the game to like, they've been doing it all their life, so they're like, well, I'm not going to start anything new now. And I was just like, and then every day, like, especially when I knew I was going traveling, like, it was really hard to go to work. So I was just like, I'm leaving this place, like, I'm better than all you lot, like. And I did have to like sort of stay a bit calm, and you know, it was just it just wasn't for me. And like when you look back, you think like, I'm glad that I don't regret it, cause, like, you know, it made me have money to go traveling. I learned a lot of experiences. Obviously I'm a qualified electrician now, so like I still get cash jobs in and stuff, so like, you know, I help people out. And you know, it was just weird, because I knew I was that person inside, but it just never like got let out until I went traveling. And then since coming back, it's just like I'm like a totally new person now.
I've got a slight feeling, and sorry about the headphones, they'll keep going in and out now and then. It's this dodgy wire. But I feel COVID may have been a semi-what good thing. I'm not a glass half full or half empty guy. I'm like, here's a glass, let's fill it up the best we can. But I think a lot of people who were living in that plain existence and got caught up in that rat race have all seen it now as an opportunity, and they're like, oh, so everything can get taken away from you in a second. So meaning, if I put all my energy for a year in something I actually care about, like even go traveling, then why not? Because I can always come back round to this like little thing that I'm doing, like this working aspect and element of my life. Why have I made this into the whole part of me, and the other little bits are like the confetti? Just turn it into your existence. Be the best person in your realm.
I think more people just like, I'd always like recommend to go traveling and just finding themselves. I think so many people are like so busy in the day to day that the weeks just fly by, the months just fly by, because you're just so caught. It's like busy. Not many people actually take the time to just be in their own, be in their own thoughts. And then it's like when you do that, that was the only reason I knew. I think if I didn't go traveling, I think I'd still be an electrician. I don't think I would have. Maybe I don't know. But like it wasn't until I was actually alone in my own thoughts and like had all these experiences and just thought, there's more to life than this. And you got to go for it. So then like literally when Came home from traveling, really
So
excited,
cool.
and then was like, wow, this is it. It's, like, it's happening now. Like, in your mind, you've like created all this buzz, and you're like, yeah, this is gonna be amazing. You like get home, you think, shit, I've actually got to do it. I've actually got to do it. What I'm thinking, and
So,
then
what's your fiance's name?
Sylvie.
Sylvie. So were you with Sylvie the whole way for this year of travelling? You were together every day?
Every day, literally every day, every second, like, was together, and like so many people before, like, oh, you're gonna split up, like, I bet one of you will come home halfway through, and like they wouldn't even like people closest to me was like saying, you know, I don't think you're gonna last, kind of thing. And you know, we've been together for just coming up to a year and a half, I think maybe 2 years. So we've been together a little while. But you know, and obviously she went traveling on her own for 3 months, so we did it when it was apart, so like surely we could do it together, and it was challenging. You know, I can't say it was easy, but it wasn't nowhere near as hard as what people like thought. Like, it was just, you know, it was only like when you was hungry or tired that you just started like arguing with each other. But in that, you know, we grew together and we learned a lot about each other.
Were you staying mainly in hostels?
Yeah, hostels. Luckily,
in dorms as well, or did you get
a few of them? And then I started, like, the first bit we started staying in dorms. And halfway through, like, I was just so sleep deprived. I was like, I value my sleep. But luckily, like, we managed to find some really good places for, like, because there was 2 of us. It was like half the price for like a double bed anyway. So it's like it made sense. So, but yeah, no, yeah, we I did the good.
too. Like, in the year I was in Australia, I did it all alone, or with my mate Jagger, but pretty much on your own. And then in South Africa, I was working a primate sanctuary, but I got a girlfriend, so then we travelled for the 8 months up and down the coast. But it's so different, the experience with a partner and without, on your own accord.
I think it's funny you say that, because obviously when Sylvia went on with a girl mate, she did so similar. She did a bit of America as well as like Thailand. And she was saying like how much she like went out drinking more and stuff like that. Whereas when she was with me, you know, there was more times where it was just us on our own. Like, we'd like go back and like watch a film or whatever, or just like you weren't really there for the party. It was more about the experience. So you know, that was. So like, I don't drink a lot anyway because I'm sort of quite healthy and stuff. So we really did sort of take the full experience on board and met some amazing people.
You're going and doing the true aspects of it, and you're actually getting indulging in the culture. Like when me and Jagger went to Australia, it was like I could have done it all back home. Really, I was just in a hot country.
That's what we didn't want. That was like
with accents.
That was one of our goals before we went. It's like, I don't want it to just be a holiday and I spend all my money on booze. Like, we do genuinely want to travel the country like a local, and we did. We met some amazing people, and we was like, really, it was funny because we obviously were traveling for years, so we was like penny pinching. We budgeted every day. We knew how much we had to spend, and like was kept on top of it, and that was the only reason I think we lasted the 12 years, and we came back with money as well, so it was like £1,000 I came back with.
Oh wow.
And like, I think Sylvia came back with a bit more because I eat a bit more.
That's really well
I spent
done,
more.
that's cool.
But yeah, no, like, you know, we'll say there's like a taxi to you go into the hostel or whatever, and there's like 5 of you, and then there'll be people who's just on like a 2-week holiday, so like the tuk-tuk man will be like, yeah, it's like £5. He's like, yeah, son. I'm like, whoa, that should only be £1. Like, let's stop. And he's like, it's just £5, mate. I'm like, no, it should only be £1. Like, it's principle, like, it's ripping you off. He's like, it's £5, mate. Like, but like, people like, unless you were traveling, like, people just like, it's so cheap compared to at home. Like, what's wrong with you?
We went to Vietnam as a family when I was about 14. For my dad's friend got married out there, and his dad ended up tipping the guy at the hotel, and he didn't know any of the like currency, the baht and all that, so he just threw some at him, and my dad was like, no, you give him like 100 quid. Like, he was like, you don't want to do that. He keeps giving loads of like this random money, and he just thought, nah, probably not that much. He didn't do that good a job of carrying your bag.
We were the worst like for like stuff like that, because obviously we couldn't really afford to tip, like, as bad as it sounds, and like you saw people that were like really poor, and you're like,
you're traveling,
we could like really help them. And I said to Silver, says that at the end of the day, like, we've saved up, like, this is our sort of time, as like selfish as it is, like, says you need to be a bit selfish, because giving you away your money all the time, like, it's going to affect our experience. And it's just like, you can't help everybody.
Altruism.
And it was quite hard sometimes seeing, like, really, because we went into like the slums in Mumbai, and like it was hard, like, walking through there, just seeing so many people with like so little. And you just thought he was going to get robbed at any moment, but then
save
you just and you can't, and you just got to like walk away and just say, I'm sorry, I can't.
That was going to be one of my questions. What was like one of the most sort of hairy moments where you're like, I wish that had put us in this situation?
There's quite a few, to be fair. The probably the one that was a bit dodgy was when I was in a place called Kuta in Bali, in Indonesia, and it's a bit of a rough place anyway. It's not the nicer part of Bali.
Bali's beautiful, but it is very tourist trap now, isn't it? It's like the Australians and that, so it's a bit of a party destination, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, and it is very like dodgy. There's a lot of like crime and drugs and everything, and we just went out, and I think it was really funny because like me and Sil were just going out a few drinks, and then was like, we need to get a bit more confident. There's a massive group of people on this big table, like backpackers, young people. I was just like, should we just go over and like chat to them, like, so we weren't not really like that. I didn't really have the confidence to just go and talk to anybody. So we ended up like, it was like, go on, like, I ended up chatting to them, and then it was like, I ended up really good friends with them, and he was just drinking these like whatever drinks they were, and then it was like, we both just smashed, like completely smashed, like really bad. And then I sort of like walking back with Sylvain, like just sort of like with it, sort of not. And then I just felt like all these lads just sort of come round me, and then like a vague memory of it. I just remember all these lads come round me, and I said, Sylvain, like, and all I remember saying is like, no, go away. Push them away and just carried on walking, and was all right. And then about a few minutes later, all these girls that came around me, and I had my phone in my pocket, stupidly, and I felt her put my hand in my pocket on my phone, and I was just like, fuck, that's my phone. Like something just came, and I was just like, no, like that, and then like went away. And then like it wanted to the next one. I thought we could have got stabbed or killed or like anything there. Like you know, it was really weird that we sort of got away with it. But yeah, there's a couple of like, I forget some stuff now, but yeah, it's definitely...
You've got to go through them. They're the best bits, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to go out and have a lovely day where everything went right.
Yeah.
But the bits where they go wrong...
Yeah, I just remembered like one was in China. I think that was probably the biggest one. Like it was in China, and obviously China's massive. It's crazy. Loads of people. And we got to the train station. It was in Beijing. Yeah. But there's a Beijing North, a Beijing South, Beijing West, Beijing East, and Beijing Central or something. And we came in on the Beijing Central, and it was my turn like to be in charge of the tickets. I was like, Beijing, so we went to the Beijing Central, and we got there like dead early. I was like, it's good this is. We'll have some food before. Got to the gate, she's like, wrong station. Like I was like, well, it's like Beijing. She's like, Beijing North. Look, it's in Chinese, like North at the end. I'm like, fuck, I got to read Chinese. I didn't know that. Then it was like, you've got like 12 minutes to get to the North station. It was literally like 12 minutes to get there. So I was like, fuck, like running my backpack, jumping into like the tube, like literally squashed in like that. And we got there, like the train just went. So just missed it. I was like that. And then was like, right, we can get another one. It's fine, we'll get another one. No problem. Like being like the optimism. Like went to the thing, like trying to translate it because I don't really speak English in China. And she was like, no trains till tomorrow. I was like, what? No trains? She's like, yeah, no trains. I was like, okay. Surely we'll be a hotel around. Like all the hotels are like really expensive. I said, so we might have to stay in the train station like that. She's like, no, we're not. I was like, I think we are. Like we've got like, what's the point? Like we can get
happiness.
I think the train was at like 6 a.m. you see, and this was like 9-10 o'clock at night. So I was like, isn't much point. So it was like, we just literally got the bags down. Went into the train station with all these tramps, like literally was just with all these tramps in the train station. We're just there like thinking we're going to get robbed, like trying to sleep, but you're not allowed to sleep in the train station. It's against the law. But they didn't kick you out. They just sort of like piss you off. So the Chinese police would come up to you going like in your ear, like when you're asleep, and like stamping the floor just to like wake you up, but not kick you out. You're just thinking, oh my God. So she like didn't sleep much, and then I managed to get the train, and that was a bit dodgy, just with all these Chinese tramps. Oh God.
Do you not think you could have just spent £100 on that hotel for a night?
Yeah, it was just in that mindset of being
that's fair, man.
And then, I don't think she's ever forgiven me since.
I remember in Oz, I was at a place called Emerald, which is literally the armpit of the universe, I think. Right. It's so strange. I remember when we got dropped off there, and I thought, we're going to die. This is like hillbilly. Oh, man, it was scary. But I decided after a month there, I'd earned enough money at this little cafe to go away and start spending again. So I booked this flight, and I turned up to this tiny little airport, and I'd gone a month late. I just booked the wrong time and everything. So then again, Mikey being Mikey, I booked this ticket, and I was like, I need to skimp now, I need to like save. So I booked a ticket off of 2 different airlines to get from one place and then to another.
Right.
Anyway, when I got this plane that I managed to get, as I was landing in, the plane that I got from the other company was setting off. So I was like, I'm just wasting my money again. Because do you know how you do? Is it Skyscanner?
Yeah.
It's a good app, isn't it?
We use that a lot.
I was using that. So again, it was like, right, I need to get from here to here. And I thought, that's the cheapest flight from here. But that gives me like 20 minutes to be able to get here. I can make it.
Yeah.
This one was delayed and that one was late, so early.
That's
so
funny.
it just went.
Yeah, we had when I was in India as well. I just remember another one, which was probably the hairiest moment actually.
Okay.
Because it was in trains in India.
Yeah.
Like they tell you to arrive at like 8:00 and it doesn't arrive till 8:00 the next morning.
Yeah.
Like it just could luckily we had the app so we could see. It's like 16 hours delayed. That was like a norm. Like.
Yeah.
16 hours delayed, like it's just crazy, isn't it? Like you just think what? But anyway, so it was on the train, and then the other one was delayed so much, but the other one was on time, so we were like, we missed our connection one somehow, and then it was like, oh, we'll just stop off like halfway. I think it was going down to Varanasi, and was like, we stopped off this place called Moradabad. So it was like,
I've heard of that.
have you?
Yeah, no, genuinely.
I don't know. It was a random place, just like in India, and it wasn't very touristy. And yeah, it was
on a Carl Pilkington show.
Was it?
Yeah, he's been there.
Yeah. So it's like just a random place, not really a place that tourists go.
Right, okay.
And obviously Sylvia's very pale, like blonde hair, blue eyes, and obviously we're both white anyway. So it's like to Indians, it's like looking at you like you're an alien or something.
Are they wanting money as well? Is that quite an obvious thing? Or?
Not really. They just want a picture.
No,
a picture. But you tell one, then next thing you know, you've got about 50 people around you. But like we got off that train station. There was like a 9-hour, 10-hour thing till the next one. So it was like, do we stay in the train station or like? I was like, we'll get a hotel, find a hotel. So sounds. So we started walking out. It was pitch black at this time. It was quite dark. It was about 9-10 o'clock at night. And it was quite poor area, so it's like people having fires on the street, and like just walking, and it's like everyone's like walking around with us. I'm just like, I said, Silver, this feels dodgy, man. This feels weird.
Yeah.
And then we got down there, and then it's like just more weird people. Like everyone's looking at this, and the police came.
Oh.
And they was like, "What are you doing?" Like we just walked to a hotel. They're like, "I don't think you are. Like you shouldn't be like around here." Like it was like we didn't know whether they were real police or not. Because in India, there's a lot of like fakes and trying to.
I've heard that.
So it was like, are they real? Like what are they doing? And they just like followed us all the way to the hotel. So I think it was real, to like protect us, kind of thing.
Making
and
sure
then we
you
got to the hotel. And then there's like, oh, you're married? I was like, no. And they're like, oh, you can't stay here then. Like, you got to be married if you're staying in the same room. I was like, fucking hell. I was like, but luckily, weirdly enough, me and Sylvia, we both got the same last name.
Right.
Both got Clark without an E. So, it was like, and then the bloke was a bit like, oh, my boss is going to kill me. Like, you can't stay in the room and all this. I was just like, and we was dead tired at this point, dead right. I was like, I just want to go to bed. Like, I'm so tired. So we filled out all this information. I was like crossing it off saying, yeah, we are married. Yeah. And then like we went to bed for like 2 hours and we had a knock on the door. Then another manager come in. Can I see your passports? I want to see your passports. We're like, no, I just want to go to bed. Then like something else had happened. Then another 2 hours later, knocking on the door with like 3 other men around you saying like, what's happening? Like, oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble letting you stay here.
Just because
we weren't married. Like it was against the rules kind of thing.
Right.
It was like law, I think. I don't think it was law, but yeah, it was something weird like that. Like you had to be married.
It's a very religious country.
Yeah, very religious. And you couldn't kiss in public, you couldn't hold hands and stuff like that. So, and that was just like, I said, we're going to get like in prison here or something. And then we literally like just got up in the morning, like got our bags, walked to the train station and left. But that was the time I just thought, this is dodgy. But
that sounds so strange.
It was weird, yeah.
Well, if you've got the same last name, why don't you just say you was brother and sister?
Yeah,
that's a bit weird. But like,
we would have got more. We got locked up even more. I think. But no, yeah. Luckily, like we said that, I was like, oh yeah, we're married. And then towards the end, like,
don't use my advice.
in India, then was just like, oh yeah, we're married. And if I said we were married, they'd like leave Sylvia alone because a lot of the men would be like dead sleazy and like try and like go up to her and stuff.
Right.
And
I've heard that as well. A lot of my friends that went travelling to India, like were trying to go to just similar like things like the cinema, and then the men would always come round and sit with the women and stuff.
Yeah, it's very
okay.
Like we met some like really nice people, and I don't think obviously there is some people that are like they're not used to seeing white skin, and they all probably got this weird sort of fetish or something. But yeah, it was a bit weird, and I think Sylvia was grateful to have me there because it did defer him away a couple of times. But they just don't respect women that much, because when we go for a meal at the restaurant, they'd ask me what Sylvia would want.
Right.
She's like, does she want curry with this? I'm like, fucking ask her. She's like, hey, like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? And then Sylvia would be like, hello, like, I am here, I am a person. And then they're like,
so strange
right.
for you as to indulge in all these different cultures.
Yeah.
And somewhat you do have to play the game, don't you? Because you're in their culture.
Yeah.
But there must be times where you think, I need to sort of tell them this isn't right here.
Yeah. It was weird. Like, India was one of our favourite countries, still is. Like, love the food, love the people, like love all like the yoga aspect of it and all that kind of stuff. It was like really, really cool. But yeah, it was interesting to hear some of the cultures. And I think someone in like Cambodia was just like asked us like, how do you stop having kids? It was like, just like contraception. They're like, what's contraception?
Okay.
Like genuine like questions. Like, I just can't stop having kids. Like, we need to stop it. Like, what do you do in like this in Britain? I was just like, all these different contraceptions. They're like, wow, like,
I love that they couldn't conceive like not having sex.
No. So what? There's just like, there's like, it was just funny, like just listening to all the like cultures and
what was the biggest one for you where you were like, this is different? Was it Japan? Was it China? Was it India? All over where you thought?
India was a big sort of culture shock. It's very religious, and they're very like sort of full on. Which was good. Really good to sort of take it on board and that, and be part of that culture. I've been there with like a little bindi spot on and doing all this, and it was really, really cool. But China was the one where it was a bit like, wow, these. A bit weird, like not in like a horrible way. Sort of. They weren't very nice to us. Like, they don't really like tourism.
They're quite direct, aren't they?
Yeah. So like they'd be really
and sharp.
Yeah, really horrible to us.
I think that is genuinely their culture to each other, though, isn't it? It's not very loving. From my experience, when I had to have a stop off there from between Australia to Asia, or one of the two. But we stopped off and I had to go in Hong Kong for a while. And it was like, to each other, it was all very sharp language and just like precise. I want this done. Like, got in a taxi, where go? Like, okay, leave me alone a minute. I'm scared.
They weren't very nice. Not very like sort of hospitalised or anything like that. Whereas other countries, they were like, wow, British, amazing, great country, like, can I have a picture? Like, this is like proper, like, thought you was the king and queen. Like, they thought it was amazing. But China was just like, we don't care about you. Like, just not bothered at all. Just didn't want to like speak to us, weren't very helpful. And that was a bit like, we left a bit of a sour taste with it a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, it was just like, not very like accommodating, not very nice.
In any way, shape or form.
No, to be fair, it was hard because it was quite more expensive than what we thought. So we didn't have a lot of money in that country anyway. So we didn't fully experience like the food and stuff. And each sort of like Great Wall of China was quite expensive and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was quite.
Especially where they've commodified
really,
it and turned it into a big tourist trap.
Japan was definitely like my favourite though.
Really?
It was amazing. They're like total opposite of China.
Did you get
really
ill
nice.
out there? Were you sick many times?
Yeah. It's weird. Like in India, we got Delhi belly. It was like it was weird because obviously I got Crohn's. We'll probably touch on it in a second. Obviously I've got Crohn's disease, and before I went, I was flaring up. I think it was just to do with the stress of like leaving. Right. And then I was in India, and I remember I took like loads of medication with me, like steroids and stuff to control it. And I was emailing like the IBD nurse saying like, I'm bleeding, I'm like in the flare, and I don't want it to ruin the experience. Because that was one of my worries about traveling for a year. I thought, imagine if I have to come home after a month, like, it'd be crap, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So then, we got to India. Was like fine for a few days, and then like got really bad sickness, like diarrhea, sickness, and like I didn't eat hardly anything for 9 days. But then after then, I was fine. Like, all my symptoms went away from Crohn's, and like I just went for the whole year, eating, drinking, whatever I want, and had no problems until I came home. And then I had another flare. I was just like, what's going on?
Your body just doesn't like this shift. And
that was the main one that we both got really. I was ill at the same time, luckily, so it was quite good for us.
You
both
can spend a couple of days in bed, can't you?
Yeah. So like it was weird because it was on such a tight because it was on such a tight schedule as well. They like put everything back, so it was in like just one day at some places that should have been 2. And then we got to like the Taj Mahal and was both just so sick, and was like we need to do this because it's the only day we've got. So it was just like walking around like that.
When you like try and hold a shit in, and honestly, it doesn't make it very nice experience.
No, it's funny because we're looking back at the pictures and like you'll see us at the Taj Mahal and we just both look so ill. And there's a story behind it, and it's just so funny. Like, you just look at the picture and think, wow, look how ill we look.
It doesn't matter how beautiful a location is in any regard. When you're holding in a shit, that's the end. So that's all you care about.
It was just literally like couldn't eat anything, and obviously the only thing to eat there was like spicy curries and stuff. So
yeah, they have it for like breakfast and tea, don't they? It's every meal is a spicy curry.
We really love curry, and like, you know, it was good just to take it all on board. And
but after a while you're just like, oh man, give me some fruit.
Yeah, it's good to have like, we did do that, to be fair. A few times we had like a bit of a Western meal, if you like.
Oh, did they have a few places available?
It was rubbish. Like, they did like some pasta dish. You just thought, I should have just gone for curry. There's a reason why you should have curry in India.
I'm reflecting on a chat I had with my mate in South Africa, but he did a year in India before that.
Right.
And he was just like, it was curry order, and he loves curry, but after a while he was just craving just like a bacon sandwich.
You do get a bit like, I think we got to Goa, which was like now the beach, and there was like, oh, you can have like a full English breakfast. I said to Sil, oh, I'd love that. And it came, and it was just like, it wasn't.
They don't know how to do it, do they?
No.
They really don't.
That's just like, you just need to stick to eating curry. Stick to what they're good at, and then both love curry, and it was some of the greatest like food, and it was amazing. The food was just amazing, and we ate like really cheap as well. Like, we didn't go to these posh restaurants. We literally ate with the locals in the back alleys, and like, everyone's like, oh, you're gonna get ill and stuff like this, and it's just like, after a bit it was fine, and like all the people who came on holiday was like, what, you gonna eat there? And I was like, yeah, fine. And it was like, it's just it was amazing, like the best food. Like, it was dead cheap as well.
It's getting in with the experience though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're getting in with the locals. When you go into a proper restaurant abroad, they've westernized it in some way.
Yeah.
They've turned it into to suit the masses.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're going down a little street alley, I remember in Thailand, me and Jagger went down this one road and we got onto this market, and it was so bashed up market, but their clean down was so funny because it was about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, all getting ready to shut down. They got a brush, they put it under all the little market plate, let all the rats run out, and the dogs would eat the rats. You're like, that is not how you clean down your restaurant.
Yeah, we saw
you were drinking out of bags, weren't you? You had like a bag of Fanta and your little fish head.
We had like a rat's claw in one of our meals. Sylvia was tucking it, I think it was in Cambodia. And then she was tucking into me, and I said, like, she just says like, what do you think that is, Jordan? I was like, it looks like a claw, but surely not. And there was like, I think it's, and I was googling it, like, rat's claw. I was like, yeah, it's a rat's claw. And then like when they came, she was like, I'm not paying for that, it's got a rat's claw in it, like, to the waiter. And they was like, oh, okay, and just took it away, and that was it. not like sorry, it was just like a normal thing. It was like, okay,
another one then.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, okay. Then just took it back, and then just took it off the bill, and like, there you go. I was like, see ya, thanks for coming. Like, no like recognition that it was like a bad thing. It was just like,
what about excursions? Like, say you went scuba diving a lot, did you?
Yeah, we got a paddy course over there, so we trained in Philippines. So we took like a week in can't remember the place now, but it was in the Philippines, and we did our paddy course. Wow. So that was amazing. And then, because we did it sort of early on, every place we went, we just like paid for the dive instead of paying for like the instructor to come with you, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it ended up being like a lot cheaper for us. It was like 25 quid a dive. Like, and you're going down to see these amazing like tropical fish, and it was really cool. Like, really enjoyed it.
How far down were you going?
I can't remember now. I can't remember what like the furthest you can go is.
Mate,
I can't remember, but it's far down. It was pretty deep.
Scuba diving, and it gets me, man.
I can't remember.
A bit nervous under there.
I want to say like 15,000 feet, but I don't know if that's right or not.
Wow, that's pretty far down. That's good going.
It was quite far. I can't remember that now, but we saw some pretty cool stuff. To be fair.
Do you get claustrophobic or anything like that?
Not really. I was alright. Sylvia was like a little bit to start off with. Like took a while to get used to it, but then once she got used to it,
I just recognise myself as somebody that does things wrong. That's how I've sort of self-defined myself.
Yeah.
So do you know when they're giving you all the information, you're saying, right, if you need air or you're struggling with this, you'd need to do this.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'm going to do it wrong. I'm going to do it wrong. Yeah. So I had that panic where I'm like, breathing wrong. Yeah. But you do accustom to it, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm glad I did, because again, scuba diving, some of the greatest experiences just going down.
Quality, so good. When we went to see the Great Wall of China, that was good. So we didn't go to like the main touristy bit. We went off like, got a local bus, went to like the edge of it a bit, and like it was just literally, was a perfect day. It was sunny, blue sky, and yeah, it was just us on the wall, literally, like no other person. So we just got like some amazing photos, and it was
crazy,
just like it was one of the moments you're just like, wow. And they had, funnily enough, for China, they didn't really have Wi-Fi that much, for tourists, so it was really hard. Great Wall of China, they had Wi-Fi. It's like FaceTiming my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'm on the Great Wall of China. This is like of all the places.
It's where your true education starts, isn't it, when you're traveling? Because I hated school, and I hated just like going through books and being told this is the way to think and X, Y, and Z. When you're traveling, you're like, you care about geography now, you care about history, you care about all these subjects, because you're actually in the middle of it. You're actually feeling that energy about that place.
It's amazing, like when you come back as well, and you just realise how sort of closed-minded people are.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And you just like, you don't understand, like that's their culture, like why are you being so horrible, kind of thing. And it wasn't until like we went till we now come back and just like, you know, it's fine, and like eating with the hands and stuff, like, oh, they're dirty, and it's just like, well, it's their culture, like, you know, it's no different. Or like eating dogs and that in Vietnam, and like people are just like, what do you mean they're eating dogs? Like, I can do that. I was like, yeah, but if you've been brought up knowing that is the food that you eat, you're not going to know it's sort of
not
wrong,
weird
right?
to them, is it?
To
I
them,
hate that word, weird, to be fair. I
Yeah.
understand it, because some things you are like, no, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
But it is like, it's to our perspective, like what we've been ingrained with. My question being, like, somewhat, I loved I travelled. I'm really happy that I travelled. But then it does leave a bit of an imprint in you where you get a bit like itchy feet. All you want to do is travel then.
Again,
when you're around closed-minded people all the time, or you're around like short-sightedness, and you have to get into that 9-to-5 regime again, or whatever it is, even though you haven't. But when you have got to do that, did you find that really tricky? And do you somewhat wish, I haven't travelled because I wouldn't have seen that? Do you know, like a caged animal?
Yeah, definitely. It was really hard to start off with, to come back. Luckily, because it was all exciting, and knew it wasn't too bad. But I bet we mention it every day. Like Sylvia, we just love to go travelling again. I'm like, I'm like, we love to go on holiday, and we're supposed to go to Kenya for 3 weeks this year, but obviously COVID came. But like for me, it was like, I love travel, so like, what job can I have that enables me to travel? So I was like, all right, if I set my own business, I'm the one that's in charge, I can make the rules. So I'm like developing coaches and developing team and staff. So if I want to go on holiday for 3 weeks, I can, like, you know, have these sort of mini traveling breaks. I don't think I'd do a full year again, just because it was really challenging.
It's nice having your own bed in it.
There's just like, there's a few things that you just got to like, I was so sleep deprived towards the end. It was like zombies. Like, it was really bad. Like, it was just like, like, you know, and it did take away from some of the experience a bit, because it's like, I just want to go back and go to bed. Like, I just want to do this. You didn't have the energy.
Decided we're going to do it to its fullest, though, isn't it? So you were like, no, we're supposed to feel this. Whereas if you'd have maybe had your attitude now and a balanced perspective, you might have gone, we can go nice tonight. We're fine to do that. Like, that was me as well. When I first went out, I was going, I just want to be a traveller. I just want to scrimp on everything and do this. But I've got that. The best lesson for me was the balance side of, I like my own space. I like solitude. I like having a kitchen that I can cook in, my own bed. But I also love travelling for all the other great assets of every day is different. No one day can be the same, really, in travelling. You're meeting people of all different cultures. And intertwining the two, I suppose.
I think it's true, like we said, about the balance between sort of, because like obviously with setting up a business, you know, with a business, it needs to make money, or it's just like a charity. Like, so there is the element where you do need to make money, and like money's, so like, it's a big taboo subject to some people, and it's like, you can't charge money for martial arts. But for me, I'm quite martial arts business driven.
There's a demand for it, mate. You can definitely charge.
So it's like, there's business driven, and there's loads of other businesses that I want to do, and I like to have nice things like a new phone and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, you know, if someone got me a box of chocolates for Christmas, I'm so grateful, I'm so happy, and like, I don't need all the frills of a nice hotel when we go away. And we've like really got this nice sort of balance between, you know, some things that we're really happy with the basics, and some things like, it's fine to have like, you know, a bit of posh snack again. Do you know what I mean? And like wanting more and stuff. Like, I'm happy with what I've got, but I also want more.
If you've got enough, you're comfortable with enough. But as soon as you've got more than enough, you're willing to spend them coins on going out and doing a nice experience.
And I think that should be fine.
Happy
I think,
tokens.
because some people would say like, you know, money doesn't make you happy and stuff like that. But then it's such a big thing. And I think it doesn't make you happy on its own, but I think it can definitely make you happier. Like, if you ask the poor person and like a rich person, I'm sure they'd say they'd probably be happier. It might not be happy, and there's obviously things that need to come with it. Like you do need to be grateful and know what, you know, is genuinely happy before.
Yeah.
But you know, it definitely does make you happy. And I think people who say like, you know, it don't make you happy, you need to be like barefoot and all that kind of stuff.
What's the Kanye West lyric? I think he says, having money's not everything, but not having it is.
Yeah.
Oh, Kanye.
Yeah.
You might be crazy, man, but you're speaking that language.
It's so true as well, right? You know, it's such a big thing. It's what people work for. It's the tool in which enables you to do travelling.
I think you said it perfectly, though. Again, I watched a documentary called Happy, which is really nicely put together, but they did this experiment on like the serotonin dopamine receptors and it being regulated between like a person earning £5,000 a year and £50,000 a year. It's very dramatic because he can't get by. The £5,000 a year is struggling and the £50,000 has got all his needs met. But a £50,000 and a £50 million isn't very different in how the happiness is regulated, if that makes sense. Because as soon as your needs are met, the rest is access. What's the word? The rest is extra. But there's a word for that, and I have forgot that word. No, it's gone.
It's gone.
Do you know that word?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Yeah, so it is important. Once you've got your needs and necessities, you genuinely are happy in yourself. Everything else is just a bonus. It's like, you can afford to go on nicer holidays. Can you? Like for me, the more money that the business saves, the more I can invest, the more I can help people. You know, the more you can give away. Like you can't feed people from an empty plate. So you've got to have some to give away. So I think some people are a bit closed-minded.
Sounds like it's done great things for you as a person.
Yeah.
Really, like,
I think it just made me be myself.
Change your philosophy.
Like even now, I do struggle sometimes with sort of mates from school that are still sort of stuck.
Yeah,
and they're still sort of stuck of knowing me of who I was, and they're just like,
it's
not
hard
used
for them to comprehend,
and
isn't
they're just like, what do you mean you like do meditation in the morning? You want to go for a run, and you know you don't want to go to the pub and just get levered. Like, you know, it's like, no, Robert, I don't actually, and it is quite hard. And obviously, I've never been on the other end of experience it. For me, it's just like, I'm off. See you. Like, you know, I'm not really too worried about what you think about me or trying to, you know, please you. But I don't know what it's like necessarily for them to sort of be like, oh, he's changed a bit. And then it's like, you either need to stay with him or like, not like it's you stay with him as like he's going to be better than you. It's just you're on a different path. You know? And I still obviously see my mates and stuff, and you know, you still have a good laugh with them, but I don't spend as much time because I'm just busy doing other stuff.
Quite
and
much that being a chameleon and horses for courses, like knowing your old mates and my old football mates and that. I can get on that vibe now. Before, when I come back from travelling, I felt, oh right, I'm just feel this way now, and we're on a different path. But now I sort of just appreciate that for what that is, and then when I meet people like yourself who have been travelling or had them experiences, I can get on that sort of level with you and learning to chameleon with each person that you're surrounded by.
I think that's an important skill to have as well.
I definitely have preferences, and I definitely have places where I'm more inclined to be and enjoy. But they've all got their own little energy and place.
And I think it's knowing what you're going to get from them. Not in like, that sounds really bad, but
and not having expectation on that.
I think that's what I mean. Like if you go into the pub with your mates from school, don't think you're going to talk about vision and goals and meditation and stuff, because you're not going to get it and you're just going to get annoyed. But then if you've got another friend that is into all that kind of stuff and you can talk about that, then brilliant. You know, it's knowing which friend to talk to about what things when you need it.
I do think if any like parent came to me and like, oh, my daughter or my son is just really struggling in life now, has no direction, no idea what they want, I would always recommend travel. I really do think it's one of the first points of call, because you have to find yourself out there. You know what you're about. Like if you're in them hairy situations, you learn so much about like what you're capable of, what your gut teaches you, and going off and meeting cultures and meeting other people, it affirms what you want back home some of the time as well. Like I again was that Thorntons going into the farm. I just looked at my dad like, that's what I'm going to be when I'm older then. Shoveling poo all day. But then no, when I was there, it was where the passions all started to come from. It's like, oh, there's this way of living and this way of living, and when you see infinite ways of being and possible ways of living, you go, how can I implement that ideology into what I am?
I think it's true. And surrounding yourself with those kind of people who are on the same sort of vision as you is like been really helpful for me, like because then you can sort of carry on being yourself. If you've not got those people to talk about goals and visions and stuff, it's like you can get suppressed again and go back down. Whereas, you know, I'm really lucky that I've met some really good people through martial arts, and I've got friends with school owners who are like way like higher than me, like 400 members charging like £100 a month, and it's just like
you'll get them, man.
and then I'm just like good friends with them, and it's just like it just motivates you really, and it just like keeps pushing you on. Whereas if you've got somebody saying like, oh, you've got enough, like you know, you've got your 100 members or you've got your 50 grand a year, like just stay at that, like, you know, you're happy, aren't you? And it's like, well, no, I just want to keep going.
And that's for you as well, because like I like to see everyone as a mentor. So I look around people around me and I'm like, if that suits and aligns with what I think, then I'll take that piece away. But because I'm so cemented and comfortable in who I am now, I get to pick and choose what works. So I have all these conversations, and it's always coming from the best place when they're giving advice, but you get to sieve through it now and sort of go, oh yeah, that works, or no, that isn't quite right. But because you're comfortable in yourself, and I think that's again what travelling does. It just opens up that door of who you are. And as soon as you've got that together, you're going to be all right.
It is amazing. And I think, you know, you say like, oh, you need to go travelling and stuff. And I think some people just like get out of their own way, get out of their own head and just like book that ticket and do it.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, I won't enjoy it. Like, oh, I couldn't do that. Like so many things that we were like, 18-hour bus journey. Oh, I couldn't do that. And you just think like, you can, like, what? You know what I mean? You're not going to die, like. So, but it's
well, it's Jordan, I've seen it's 4:00, and have you got a session now?
I've got a session tonight. Not now. Not now. It's a bit later, but I'll have some food then go.
People that have been watching this, where can they find you, your business, and if they want to get into martial arts, like, give them a bit of advice, man.
Yeah. So Benefit Martial Arts.
Benefit, I love it.
We're at Ripley Junior School. So yeah, Benefit Martial Arts. We're at Ripley Junior School, and we do have a session at Alfreton Genesis Centre as well. 3 years old all the way up to adults, and so it's good, you know, kids, you know, we're massively on building confidence, building their self-respect, discipline, whilst having lots of fun. Adults, you know, it's more about beating the stress of the day-to-day life, you know, letting off a bit of steam, you know, creating good friends as well, and just a really big positive hub really for children and adults.
Does Benefit Martial Arts have a Facebook page and an Instagram page and everything like that?
So just search Benefit Martial Arts.
On everything, all the social
Benefit
platforms.
Martial Arts,
Excellent. And if they message you on that, would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so we always give a 2-week free trial, as we want people to see what we do. You know, there's no sort of pressure or anything. We want to be able to show you what we do and the benefits of it. Pardon me. I had to get it in there, didn't I? One more time. Obviously, and have, you know, just come down, try it. What have you got to lose?
Beautiful, man. Right, well, guys, you've met Jordan. What a beautiful guy. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you for being a part of the Old Farm Bus, Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. It's getting dark now. I've got my tinsel on. Here we go. It's just gone off as well. We're back. And we're back to say goodbye. Be nice to one another. You good. Cheers.